Hello friends, I am Mohan from Sri Venkateswara College of Engineering, branch Information Science and Engineering. Today I am going to explain about the topic name Input and Output Organization, which comes under the subject called Digital Design and Computer Organization. So let us discuss input and what is output and about the organization, both input and output advantages and introduction. Input and output organization refers to the management and structuring of data entering and exiting a computing system. This includes the arrangement of devices, the routing of data, and the control of data flow within an organization's IT infrastructure, like index to ITIL process service design, index to ITIL process service transition for, and also the service operation, like project management, application development, release and development management, and service validating the testing and changing evaluation. Types of input devices: traditional input devices, specialized input devices. This include keyboards, mic, and touchpads. They are commonly used for data entry and interaction with computers. Examples are barcode readers, microphones, and graphic tablets designed for specific input purpose. This is about specialized input devices of it is types of a input devices. Display devices and print devices are the types of output devices. These include monitors, projectors, and screens for visual output of data and information. Printers and plotters are the main devices used for producing physical copies of a data and information. Input and output operations like data input, data processing, data output, collection and entry of data into a system, including data capture from various input devices, manipulation and transformation of input data, including calculations and data formatting, presentation and distribution of processed data through output devices or a storage media. Input output processing techniques, data comparison, data encryption, and buffering. Techniques to reduce the size of a data for efficient storage and transmission. Methods to secure and protect data during input and output operations is called a data encryption, and use of a buffers to optimize data transfer and minimize delays in input and output process called buffering. Input and output error handling, error detection and error correction. It will correct the errors which we give in the input. Techniques to identify and recognize errors and inconsistencies in input and output data. Methods to rectify errors and ensure accurate input and output data processing. Input and output performance optimization: 80% for a data transfer and speed for 95% efficiency gain, improving the speed of data transfer between input and output devices and storage systems, enhancing the overall efficiency of input and output operations for faster data access and processing. Input and output security considerations: in a world where data security is permanent, considering the protection of input and output data is vital of organizations. Conclusion and future trends: data fusion, augmented reality, quantum computing. Data fusion, integrating input and output data sources for comprehensive analysis and decision making. Augmented reality, changing the way users interact with input and output through immersive experiences. Potential to revelation in input and output processes with advanced computational power. Conclusion and future trends: data fusion, augmented reality, quantum computing, integrating input and output data sources for comprehensive analysis and decision making, changing the way users interact with input and output through immersive experiences, potential to revolutionize input and output process with advanced computational power. So this is about the conclusion and future trends. Input and output organization. Introduction to input and output organization. Input and output organization is a fundamental concept in computer systems. It refers to the way data is received from input devices and delivered to output devices. Effective input and output organization greatly impact system performance and user experiences, like peripheral devices and input and output interfaces. Peripheral or Input device like input or output device attached to the computer, monitor, keyboard, printer, and storage device. For interface, a conversion of a signal values may be required, a synchronization mechanisms may be needed, and the data transfer data peripherals differ from the CPU and memory. The operating modes of peripherals are different from each other. Each peripherals must be controlled so disturbed operators of the other peripheral connected to the CPU. Input devices. Input devices are used to enter data or commands into a computer system. Co- Common input devices like keyboard, mice, touchscreens, scanners, and microphones. The organization of input devices determines how data is collected and processed by the computer. So this is about the input devices of computer like camera, touchscreen, scanner, microphone, joystick, webcam, trackball, and keyboard of mouse. And output devices are used to present or display data processed by the computer system. Common output devices includes monitors, printers, speakers, and projectors. The organization of output devices determines how data is presented to the user. Output devices like speaker, monitor, headphone, plotter, projector, and printer. Input organization techniques of a data collection technique like technique description tools in comes under the technique is using secondary data, observing, interviewing, administering written questionnaires, and conducting focus groups like using data that has already been collected by others and systematically selecting, watching, and recording behavior and characteristics of people, objects, or events. Oral questioning of response either individually as per a group or collecting data based on answers provided by the respondent in written form, facilitating free discussions on specified topics with selected group of participants. Of tools like checklist, data completion forms, eyes and ears, data completion forms, interview guide, data completion forms, and survey and questionnaires like flip charts. Input organization techniques focus on efficient data collection and processing. Techniques includes buffering, data validation, and error handling. Proper input organization ensures accurate and reliable data input. Output organization techniques like textual presentation is putting the important figures in the text of the report, or figures may be summary statistics like the minimum, maximum, mean, median, standard deviation, percentage, or total allows us to highlight these significant figures of a study. It conforms deduction and answers to the research problem. Like output organization techniques focus on presenting data in a meaningful way. Techniques include formatting and sorting and filtering, like proper output organization enhances data readability and use comparison. Input output devices. Some devices serve both input and output functions, such as touchscreens. Input output devices required specialized organization techniques handled by data flow. Examples of the input output devices include smartphone and interaction. Like synchronization is a crucial in input and output organization. It ensures proper timing and coordination between input and output operations. Synchronization prevents data loss or corruption during transfer. For input subsystem of input and output organization in that provides an efficient mode of communication between the central system and the outside environment. Programs and data must be entered into computer memory for processing, and results obtained from computer must be recorded and displayed to user. When input transferred via slow keyboard process will be idle most of the timing waiting for information to arrive. Magnetic tapes likes and dislikes. Disks, sorry, it's a disks. Direct memory access, interrupts and direct memory access. Interrupts and direct memory access are techniques used for efficient input and output organization. Interrupts allow devices to signal and CPU when they need attention, reducing CPU utilization. DM enables direct data transfer between devices and memory, reducing CPU involvement, like to CPU to address count control in the programs, and the direct memory access are the controller like interrupts when done. It is for the reversible of a 4-rack and disk controller like a drive buffer main memory to the data transfer and data memory, sorry, direct memory access request transfer to the memory. So at lastly, interrupting when it's done, and it's a recycle about the direct memory access. Device drives. Device drives are software components that facilitate communication between the operating system and input and output devices. Devices drives provide an interface for the operating system to control and manage devices. Proper devices driver organization ensures capability and efficient utilization of input and output devices like software, user input, operating system, and device drive. Input and output bus organization. Input and output bus are used to transfer data between devices and the CPU. The organization of input and output buses determines the speed and efficiency of transfer. Techniques like bus attribution and bus mastering improve bus organization like CPU to monitor to input and output. At least the data bus gives to the address bus and it gives to the control bus. At last the power bus. So this is in both direction and single direction and power supply. It is a green color, single direction orange and say orange and it's a red color. Input and output performance optimization, like input and output performance can be optimized through various techniques, and techniques includes data comparison, caching, and parallel processing. Optimizing input and output performance improves overall system efficiency, like feedback, process, storage, feedback, finding the product, and showing one less of a pressure. For at least conclusion, input and output organization plays a crucial role in the computer systems. Proper organization of input and output devices enhances system performance and user experience. Understanding and implementing efficient input and output organization technique is essential for successful system design. So this is about the input and output organization. Thank you guys.